Good morning, students. Today I am going to continue your fourth chapter of history, and the name of the chapter is the India in the 18th century. So we have to start our chapter from page number 33, the Sikhs. The Sikhs were organized into a warrior section when after the execution of Guru Tegh Bahadur. And who executed the Guru Tegh Bahadur? Aurangzeb. Guru Gobind Singh organized the Sikhs into a military brotherhood, and that group was known as the Khalsa. And what was the main function of the Khalsa? The main function of the Khalsa was to oppose the wrongdoings of Mughals. Then Guru Gobind Singh was succeeded by Banda Bahadur in 1708, and he resisted the Mughals for 8 long years, but finally he was captured and killed in 1716. Then Maharaja Ranjit Singh united the 12 misl or groups led by Sikh chiefs, and he brought the whole area west of river Satluj under his control and established the Sikh kingdom in Punjab. And it was only after his death in 1839 that the English gained control over the Punjab. Next were the Jats. The Jats were an agricultural community who lived around Delhi, Agra, and Mathura, and they united themselves and they organized a revolt against the Aurangzeb because they were not happy with the oppressive policies of the Aurangzebs, and they started a revolt against him. And under the leadership of Churaman and his nephew Badan Singh, they declared their independence. And Surajmal, son of Badan Singh, was a Jat hero who extended the Jat kingdom from Agra to Delhi, including Aligarh, Rewari, and Gurgaon. And what was the capital of the Jat kingdom? Bharatpur was the capital of the Jat kingdom. Next were the Rajputs. A majority of Rajput states were most of the time involved in civil wars among themselves. And at that time, Raja Savai Jai Singh was the main ruler of the Amber, and the city of Jaipur, which is also known as the Pink City, it was built by him in a very planned manner in 1727. He was a scientist and a social reformer. He built many observatories at Delhi, Jaipur, Mathura, Ujjain, and Varanasi. And as a political power, the Rajputs were insignificant during the 18th century. Jantar Mantar, an astronomical observatory, was also built by Savai Raja Jai Singh of Jaipur. Next is Mysore. Hyder Ali, who became the ruler of Mysore in 1761, started his career as an ordinary soldier in the Mysore army. And he won many battles against the Marathas, the Nizam of Hyderabad, and he was able to make his career in Anglo-Mysore wars. After that, Hyder Ali was succeeded by his son Tipu Sultan in 1782. Yes, students, you have to highlight all the dates in your chapter as well as you have to write it in your notebooks. Then Tipu Sultan, he ruled Mysore for 17 years, and he was an efficient ruler and brave general. He had to fight against the combined strength of Nizam of Hyderabad, the Marathas, and the English, and he died in 1799. Yes, students, Tipu Sultan is also known as the Tiger of Mysore. He was a wise ruler and was deeply influenced by the ideas of the French Revolution. He introduced modern weapons in his army and tried to build a modern navy also. He organized his army along European lines. He also tried to introduce modern industries in India. Next is the Marathas. The Marathas became powerful after the decline of the Mughal Empire. When the Mughal Empire declined, Marathas came to power, and Shivaji had established a Maratha kingdom during the reign of Aurangzeb. And when Shivaji died in CE 1680, his son Shambaji became the ruler. But he was also captured and tortured to death by the Mughals. Then his son Sahu was also imprisoned by Aurangzeb, and Sahu's stepmother Raja Ram carried on the struggle till 1700. And after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, Sahu was released by Bahadur Shah I, and a civil war started between Tarabai and Sahu. Why? For the throne. And ultimately Sahu was successful, and he was helped in this by Balaji Vishwanath, whom Sahu appointed as his prime minister, or you can say Peshwa, in CE 1713. And the Peshwas became the real head of the Maratha Empire. The first Peshwa was the Balaji Vishwanath. His time period was from CE 1713 to CE 1720. Sahu was a weak ruler, as we have discussed earlier, and all power passed into the hands of the Peshwas. So Balaji Vishwanath became the real ruler of Marathas territories, and Balaji forced the Mughals to restore all the territories which had earlier belonged to Shivaji. Next Peshwa king was the Bajirao I. His time period was from CE 1720 to CE 1740, and he was a very brilliant commander. He realized that the Mughals had become very weak, so he extended the Maratha Empire. Under him, the Marathas conquered Malwa, southern Gujarat, and the parts of the Bundelkhand in the north. The next ruler was the Balaji Bajirao. His time period was from CE 1740 to CE 1761. Bajirao's son Balaji Bajirao succeeded him, and he shifted his capital from Satara to Pune, and the Maratha power reached its peak during his time. Yes, students, it is very interesting to note that there were three crucial battles in Indian history, and these three battles were known as battles of Panipat. The first battle of Panipat, it was held in 1526, and it was between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi, and in this battle Babur defeated Afghan ruler Ibrahim Lodi. The second battle of Panipat, it was held in 1556, and it was fought between Akbar and Hemu, and Akbar's victory made him establish the Mughal rule in India for nearly 300 years. Yes, the last battle was the third battle of Panipat. It was held in 1761. Ahmad Shah Abdali, an Afghan invader, gave a crushing defeat to the forces of Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, and it put to an end to the Maratha power and their dream of ruling the whole of India, and it allowed the East India Company to gain power and became supreme commander in India. Yes, students, the four Peshwas who came to rule, they followed the policies of Bajirao, but their power had gradually divided into many groups. The five Marathas political groups which emerged were Peshwas at Pune, Gaikwads at Baroda, Bonsals at Nagpur, Holkars at Indore, and Scindias at Gwalior. These were the five Marathas political groups, and these groups were known as the Maratha Confederacy. Balaji Vishwanath divided the Maratha Confederacy into five parts, and what he did, he divided each part under a Sardar, and this Sardar was appointed to collect revenue on the behalf of the Peshwa, and these Sardars were constantly at war with each other for supremacy, because everyone wanted to prove that I am the greatest Sardar amongst the all, and the Maratha Empire soon lost its unity. Yes, students, earlier the Marathas were using a very well warfare technique, which was guerrilla warfare, but it was failed, which helped the Marathas to win the power. It was failed in the plains of North India, and these Sardars, what they were doing, actually they were looted and terrorized the people in order to collect taxes. This made them the most hated people, and the Sardars became very unpopular, and after Balaji Vishwanath, Peshwaship became hereditary, and this was detrimental to the interest of the Maratha Empire, as able Peshwa could not be appointed. Yes, students, this is all about this chapter. I'll be sending you back exercise of this chapter. You have to write it down in your notebooks. Thank you.